Om Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Hari Om. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramakrishna. Welcome to the readings and reflections on the life of Holy Mother. We are starting a new chapter, chapter 12, in her husband's cottage. I am reading from this book, Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi, written by Srimad Swami Gambhiranand Maharaj. 12th chapter in her husband's cottage, page number is 145. The Holy Mother stayed at Balram Babu's house for about a week and then went to Kamarpukur. Before starting for the place, she visited Dakshineswar to bow down before all the deities and have another look at everything associated with the Master. Swami Yogananda, Golapma, and some others accompanied her up to Kamarpukur. They went to Bardwan by train, from where they walked the rest of the way for lack of money. The first phase of the journey from Bardwan to Uchalan, a distance of about 16 miles, tired out the mother very much, and she felt hungry. At Uchalan, Gulapma managed to cook a little khichdi, on tasting which the mother said, "Oh Gulab, what a delicacy you have prepared." Swami Yogananda and others left for their places after staying at Kamarpukur for a few days. Then began the mother's sorrowful life at that village, during which time she was practically alone, as she had none to sympathize with her or even to talk to her, barring some 2 or 3 old acquaintances. When during the master's illness at Kashipur, his nephew Ramlal came to see him one day, the master told him, "You will serve Bhavatarni, that is Kali at Dakshineswar, and so you will not lack anything." He then turned to the mother and said, "You will live at Kamarpukur and look after Lakshmi a little." Lakshmi is one of the nieces of Sri Ramakrishna, and she became a widow soon after marriage and stayed in her father's house at Kamarpukur. You will not have to provide for her food, but see that she does not leave home to go elsewhere. The devotees will have as much veneration for you as they have for me. To Ramlal again, he said, "See that your aunt stays at Kamarpukur." Ramlal replied, "She will stay wherever she wills." The master easily saw through the meaning of that statement, and he reproved him, saying, "How is that, my boy? Why have you been born a man?" Lakshmi Devi had been to Vrindavan with the mother, but she did not go to Kamarpukur, preferring to live with her brothers at Dakshineswar. As for Ramlal, he not only refused to shoulder any responsibility for the mother, but also created a tremendous difficulty for her. Trailokanath Vishwas, son of Mathurunath and grandson of Rani Rashmani, granted a small allowance of 7 rupees for the mother. But during her stay at Vrindavan, Ramlal dinned it into the ears of the cashier of the temple that the devotees of the master were looking after her, and that there was therefore no need for an allowance from the temple, so that the contribution was stopped. The Holy Mother said, "Trailokya used to give me 7 rupees. After the master's death, Dinu, the cashier, and all others conspired to stop that money. My relatives too, who were there, treated me as an ordinary mortal and joined with them." This is published in Uddhavan. Swami Vivekananda and others argued against such a step, but to no effect. When the mother heard of it, she said with extreme indifference, "If they have stopped it, let them have their way. When even the master is gone, what shall I do with the money?" The devotees of the master had decided that they would contribute 10 rupees a month for the maintenance of the wife of their guru. But that pious wish did not materialize. Hence, the life of the mother at Kamarpukur was not only solitary but also one of privation. Sri Ramakrishna once said to her, "You will stay at Kamarpukur, you will grow pot herbs, eat your rice with greens, and call on Hari." This was not an order, but it was a wish of the master, a hint of a means of her livelihood. As though to fulfill those words, the mother had to follow that very pattern of life in those days. There were times when she boiled some rice but had no salt to sever it with. When, after some days, the state of affairs at Kamarpukur became known in Calcutta, the devotees took her there. But that was long after. In the meantime, the mother continued to suffer without even informing anybody in the very mudhead which the master had bequeathed to her. For even then was ringing in her ears that counsel of the master: "Mind you, don't put forth your hand to anybody even for a dime. You will have no lack of coarse food and cloth. Once you put forth your hand for a dime from anyone, you sell your head to him. Even living on charity is preferable to living in other people's houses. Even if any one of the devotees should offer to keep you in his house with love and respect, you should not give up your own home at Kamarpukur." Let us for a moment stop here to look around the Kamarpukur of those days. The Kamarpukur of the boyhood days of the master must have changed a good deal with the change of time, as it is quite natural. Still, the village did not, in all probability, appear new to the mother's eyes, though there is a world of difference between the Kamarpukur of the latter part of 1887 and the Kamarpukur of today, that is 1954. To the south of the master's house at that time, and contiguous to it, was the house of Shuklal Goswami, known popularly as the Gosain Mahal, which looked something like a landholder's office establishment with high brick walls around and a brick house in the middle. Near the present well, south of the master's temple, was the entrance of the Gosain Mahal, which opened to the road on the west. South of the Mahal was a small pond on whose bank was the memorial of a sati of the Pine family. Further south was the guest house of the Lahas. East of the dwelling house of the Lahas, in the center of the village, is a big pond called the Kamarpukur, tank of the Kamars. On the southwest corner of which the Kamars, literally blacksmiths, still live. Dhani Kamarini, who acted as a midwife at the birth of the master, was born among these people. North of the master's house is a big pond called the Haldar Pukur, or the tank of the Haldars, who no longer live in the village but have shifted to other places. In the mother's time, the two-storied brick house of the Lahas was still habitable and the family was well off. Near the master's house, there were many sweetmeat sellers, and starting from the northeastern corner of the house up to the marketplace, there were rows of shops on either side of the main village road. The dome, that is sweeper quarters along the road to the northwest of the master's house, had not been vacated then, and the yogis, that is weavers, still had their homesteads between the master's house and the Haldar Pukur, and they still conducted worship at the Shiva temple. The mango grove of Manik Raja had not been denuded, and the tall palm trees still reflected themselves on the calm and transparent waters of the tanks and ponds scattered everywhere. The master's homestead then consisted of 3 mud houses for dwelling purposes, with thatched roofs, standing in a line on the southern side of the village road running from east to west. The house on the east, outside the courtyard, served as a parlor. The house in the middle, which was the largest and over which another story was raised later, was used by Rameshwar, the elder brother of the master. The westernmost house was used by the master, and in this was spent the Kamarpukur phase of the life of the mother. Between these two dwelling houses was a small door leading to the northern road. At right angles to the master's bedroom was the shrine of Raghuvira, built of mud and straw. The kitchen house along the southern boundary wall had three rooms, one of which was used by the mother. In the middle of the eastern wall was the entrance to the courtyard. Along this wall, between the entrance and the kitchen, was the husking shed where the master was born. The altar of Raghuvira and other deities that existed in those days was built by the master's father, Chudiram Chattopadhyaya, with the earth carried by himself on his head. At present, there are four deities: the image of Gopala installed by Lakshmi Devi, the white stone emblem of Rameshwara Shiva brought by Chudiram from Rameshwaram, the Raghuvira stone which he got in a dream, and a pitcher filled with water painted with vermilion and holding mango leaves on its top, which represents the goddess Shitala. About Shitala, the mother said, "She indeed is our family deity. I heard it related how my father in law saw in a dream that the great mother, in her form of Shitala, a little girl with a robe red as vermilion, was sweeping away all calamities, all the refuse, with brooms in her hand, and holding a pitcher at her waist, sprinkling ambrosial water with the mango leaves, thereby bringing peace to all beings by removing all cares." There is a note here. In Bengali, Sheetal Karchen, making cool or removing the heat. Sheetala is feminine of Sheetal. Sheetala is generally the goddess of pox or similar calamities. But the mother here gives the word a higher meaning, equating Sheetala with the universal mother. I will stop here. So, the chapter, that is the 12th chapter, entitled In Her Husband's Cottage, how Holy Mother passed the days in such a sorrowful state. We saw after the passing away of Master how Holy Mother was in a very bad condition, and the devotees surrounding her took the decision to send her for a few months on a pilgrimage. So she went on pilgrimage and she visited many places, holy places, and came back to Calcutta. So when she came back to Calcutta, for a week or so, she went to Balaram Babu's house and stayed there. Balaram Babu's house, Master used to go many times, and that ladies of the house were very, very congenial, and they were devoted to Master. So Master's wife is now without the Master. Where she will stay? So they asked her, "Come and stay with us." So she went and stayed for a few days. And after that, she had to go to Kamarpukur. Kamarpukur is the birthplace of Sri Ramakrishna. Now, you see, the Indian society in those days, till today also, has got a particular pattern. And that pattern, we call it patriarchal society. That means the head of the family will be the man. His wife and the children all will come under his protecting hood. In those days, women hardly went for work. All the women were actually kept inside the house, as we call now housewives. They were not for work. And the earning capacity of that man has to be brought in so that the family is maintained. Naturally, you will find in this system, there are every system of social justice you will see, there are plus points, there are minus points. So far, we have not come across a ideal society pattern because everything, time is changing, people's behaviors are changing, tendencies are changing, and there are so many other factors that come into play with the result that every society undergoes a terrible change in due course of, say, 20 years, 50 years, 100 years, like that. So nowadays, in the high society of the Indian society, you'll find women are welcome to study and they go for higher education. They take up lots of jobs and they earn. So Swami Vivekananda says in one place that the oppression of women that has come upon our society due to various reasons, external forces that came into our land, and then different kings and ruling this earth. Like that, there are so many other factors also there. But then one of the factors for the oppression of women or looking down upon them was their lack of economic freedom. This is a very important observation of Swami Vivekananda. Once the economic observation is this economic enslavement can be removed. How you can remove? Unless the women get the economic freedom, unless they have their own earnings. So there are good things were there when the women and the men, when they were coming to a wedlock, then they have wonderful love between them. So there is no problem at all. The man looks after the wife and the children and the family flourishes. And the wife is faithful to him, loyal to him, and everything goes on well. But it's not so. Every family is not like that. So when in some places we find women are tortured, women are not treated well, that is because she doesn't have her economic independence. When Swami Vivekananda went to America and saw that society was fully independent. Women are independent. They were on work. They could earn. They had the property. And they could go out like men. And that he saw how women were so free in those areas. As I told you, every system has got pluses and minuses. But in that place, because women have become independent and they had the freedom, what happened? They started growing above the freedom levels. The result, they were looked after or looked upon as mere crazy product, an object for enjoyment. Every woman is a mother. The mother concept was lacking. Swamiji clearly says that. But in India, we had this mother concept. Women were considered as mother first. Even a small girl, when she comes to us, we call that her name and then Ma. That word Ma is used. Why? Because to indicate that she will be mother later. And also it brings in your mind all the purity, the association that we have with the word mother, Ma. Such a beautiful word. Single syllable, but what a wonderful word it is. And then that's how this system had plus or minus, but then the economic independence was not there in those days. So when Master passed away, the Dakshineshwar temple gave her 7 rupees a month to cater to the expenses of the Holy Mother. But the danger came from Master's own lineage. Ramlal, who was a nephew of the Master, he has become a pujari in the Dakshineswar temple. So once you become an official pujari of the temple, you have certain status. You have certain money coming to you. And all those things made Ramlal little haughty in temperament. Sri Ramakrishna understood that. Sri Ramakrishna told him, now you have become the pujari of the Mother Bhavatarini, and Bhavatarini's temple, since you are doing puja, you will not lack anything. But take care of your auntie also. But then the way Ramlal replied to Master indicated he was not in favor of it. What did he say? He said, let her live where she wants to. That's a very evasive reply. It was not a very satisfactory reply to Sri Ramakrishna. He didn't tell him, oh yes, Mama, don't worry at all. I will take care of auntie. He should have told like that because he was benefited in different means from Ramakrishna. But then he did not say that. So with the result, my master could understand. So he gave her an instruction. That instruction seems to be so true even today. As we see many people as devotees, and some of the devotees have gone into very, very difficult times in their lives. We have seen that one very high, rich devotee suddenly losing everything, and the husband passes away, and the wife comes down to a very, very poverty line, below poverty line. Such cases we have seen. And I personally know a few devotees who were put into great difficulty because their husbands had passed away. Once the husband has been earning and all the devotees are around with him, wonderful. It's a very joyful life. You feel that, oh, these my brothers, his brothers, my sister-in-laws, his sister-in-laws, all those people, we are all a wonderful family. Only you will know the true, genuine love of these people when you become very, very poor in their eyes. When you become poor, what happens? You lose the social status. If you lose the social status, the people, your own relatives, who are in a social status, they look upon you because you have lost the status, they don't want to associate with you anymore. The relatives are around you. But the lady who has lost her husband was telling me that, oh Maharaj, none of them come and inquire of me, how are you? Are you having everything okay? They don't even ask. That's what happened to Holy Mother also. So the society changes. So here we find that if only women had that economic independence, would that have happened? No. But even the 7 rupees that was being given, this Ramlal went to the cashier of the temple, who was Dinu Pandit, and he went to Dinu and told him, look, don't extend this facility to the mother. Then Dinu asked, why? The temple is giving her 7 rupees. What is the problem with you? He said, don't you see? There are devotees of Sri Ramakrishna who are taking care of this Holy Mother. So they will take care of her. The temple need not give. He is a pujari of the temple and he is advising the temple authorities like this. And the temple stopped. The same temple management, that Vishwas, Madhurnath Vishwas, who was ready to pour out all his wealth at the feet of Sri Ramakrishna. And his grandson today in the management refused to pay that 7 rupees to Holy Mother. Naturally, she can't stay at the Dakshineswar temple. She has to go back. Where she will go? A married woman becoming a widow cannot go to her own home. This is also another nature of the social system that we follow. She can't go. she had to go to her husband's place. So her husband's place was Kamarpukur. There, Ramakrishna had a small house, his father's house. So she can go and stay there. Nobody will disturb her. That is what Sri Ramakrishna told her. Just you will stay at Kamarpukur. He clearly told her. You will grow pot herbs. Eat your rice with greens and call on Hari. This is a pattern of life that you can lead. And this was a terrible thing to think of also. And Holy Mother, literally, this came true in Holy Mother's life, who is none other than an incarnation of Mahalakshmi. That Mahalakshmi, who is the in charge, who is the goddess of all the wealth, has to stay like this. Mahalakshmi, it is not a new thing for Mahalakshmi. When she came as Mother Sita also, she has struggled. She was born and she was brought up by King Janaka as a princess. But then she had to go with Ram to the forest. So, lot of hardship she had undergone. So she knows. But in this avatar also, she has been having such problem of even to eat properly. Can you imagine this? And Master had told her one important teaching, and that is very important for every woman, I should say. I'm happy to tell you that recently I was talking to a devotee, and the devotee is staying alone. She has brothers and sisters, but she would never go to them and ask for anything for her personal. She says, why should I? I will stand aloof. I shall not ask anyone. I like that quality. And that is what Sri Ramakrishna advised to Holy Mother. Think what Master is telling her. I'll read that instruction of Sri Ramakrishna. Mind you, don't put forth your hand to anybody for even a dime. Dime is the word used in those days. So it's like pennies. Son, it says, mind you, don't put forth your hand to anyone, even for a dime. You will have no lack of coarse cloth, food and cloth. So food and cloth, coarse. It will not be very highly delicacies you won't have, but then you will have minimum food to sustain your body and a cloth to cover your body. You will have that. Not very nice, costly satin clothes, etc. But you will have a cotton cloth, a sari. Once you put forth your hand for dime from anyone, you sell your head to him. What a beautiful advice of Sri Ramakrishna. I just wonder, a person who was going into Samadhi, Murmu, again and again he used to go into Samadhi, completely forgetting this outer world, doesn't know anything, we think, about the outer world, samsara. And he is telling his wife, never put your hand before anybody for a dime. And if you put your hand and receive something from somebody, what happens? You leave your head under his power. Sell your head to him. Even living on charity is preferable. That is in Bhiksha. Charity here, Bhiksha. So in Bhiksha also, you can take Bhiksha from people and eat and then live. That is preferable than living in other people's houses. Go and stay in other people's houses. What struggle we have to have. Even in the modern days, when women do not have that economic independence and when they become widows, how difficult it is for them to have a proper meals. And if they live in somebody's house, they'll be treated merely as a maid servant. Nothing more than that. Oh, what a terrible life it is. And Master, knowing all these worldly matters, how Intricately, he knew these worldly matters, and then he advised properly the Holy Mother. Even if any one of the devotees should offer to keep you in his love, in his house with love and respect, you should not give up your own home at Kamarpukur. There are people, devotees like Balram Bose house, wonderful people, rich people. They wanted to keep Holy Mother, but Holy Mother stayed for 1 week for his telling. Okay, you are now very much requesting me, let me come and stay with you. But how many days she stayed? Not forever, only 1 week. And then she returned to Kamarpukur. So Sri Ramakrishna says, even if any one of the devotees ask you to come and stand ready to keep you with love and respect, okay, you go there, stay for a few days. But then you should not give up your own home at Kamarpukur. That is your home. Should not leave. When I was a brahmachari, I went to Jairambati, Kamarpukur. It's a wonderful place just to go and to know. And first time I am going there, and I had read little of Sri Ramakrishna's life and so Swamiji's life and mother's life. And so I had my own imagination of how Jairambati would be, how Kamarpukur would be. So I went to Jairambati, and somehow of the two places, I liked Jairambati so much. As if, mother is sitting there, and I'm putting, when I try to go to sleep, I'm keeping my head on her lap. Like that I used to feel. So that such a beautiful way of that ashram's surroundings were there. So I used to go there. And I stayed for 15 days. And now my leave is going to be over, and another only 3 days I had. So I told myself, no, let me go and stay at Kamarpukur for 3 days. Kamarpukur is Master's birthplace. I should not miss that. So let me go and stay. So I went there. So there was a Swami there, a very senior Swami. So he was very kind to me. He gave me room, etc. And he looked after me very well because I am a vegetarian. So no fish and etc. And he gave me special dish. The days fish is made for the other devotees, and he would make a special dish for me because I'm vegetarian. So like that, he took a lot of care of me. And he asked me, why 3 days for Kamarpukur? You should have stayed here. Somehow he got attracted to me, and I got attracted to him. And I used to go with him for a walk in the evening and talk to him. And so many good things about Kamarpukur he would tell me. So he asked me, why 3 days? I said, that is mother's house. I felt so released from all my worries. And I felt I am at my own home, in my own mother's house. Like that I felt. So I spent a lot of days there, more days there. Of course, this is Baba's house, This is father's house. But here fathers are very stern and mothers are very loving. So that difference also is there. So I simply told, that is mother's house. Then he looked at me, very intensely looked at me. What you are talking? You are talking nonsense. This is mother's house. Kamarpukur is the mother's house. Once a girl is married to a family, and that family's house, traditional house, is from this village, and this village becomes her house. Don't you know this Hindu way of these girls being treated? Once they get married and they go to their husband's house, and that is her house, not the father's house. So whenever they refer to their house, what they would say? My house, when they mean it is her husband's place. And when she says my father's house, it is her father's house. So suddenly a new idea came into my mind. Oh, this is something true. Yes, it is mother's house. But still we call Jairambati as mother's house and Kamarpukur as father's house. It doesn't matter whatever we may call it, but then, or whatever feeling you may have, but still, even if at the age of 72, I should say, Jairambati, I feel very, very homely, definitely. But then there's different aspects, different views and different attitudes, tendencies, etc. So many things come into play in this. But then, mother's house, when you say, the Kamarpukur is the mother's house. Because Sri Ramakrishna instructed her, go and stay there. And she stayed, even though she's staying there. So when you go there to a master's house, at what you see, when Sri Ramakrishna was saying, Holy Mother also is there with him. She's not in the altar, but she is working everywhere through many people. She is feeding hundreds and thousands of people in Kamarpukur. What wonderful relief for Kamarpukur center is doing. How many villages around the Kamarpukur have been updated with so many things, with facilities, with wealth. And it has become a central point of development in that whole district. Because mother is there. So it is mother's house. So you should not give up your own home at Kamarpukur, he says. And then the author Swami Gambirananji decided to take us around the village of Kamarpukur. So when mother went, how was that village? So there is, in village type of talking, we say east, west, north, south. So that is how the indications are given. So you go to the southern side, you will see this. If you go to the west side, like that, they speak like that. So in the same way, the author has explained that what was the situation of Kamarpukur in those times and the physical village, how it was there. So he speaks about Gosha Mahal, and he speaks about the Hussain Mahal. He speaks that is where the Pine family's memorial was there, and he speaks about the guest house of the Lahas. Lahas were one of the richest families of Kamarpukur. They were there in master's time, and then Kamar means blacksmith. So it is a village mostly lived by these Kamars, that is blacksmiths. So blacksmiths were predominant in that village. So it was called Kamar Pukur. Pukur means a pond. So a pond where Kamars, that is the blacksmith, used to go and take bath. So that is useful. So that is how the village name came. So Dhani Kamarni, she came from that portion of that village where the Kamars were used to stay. We know Dhani Kamarni, how she was a wonderful lady. And she used to be an attendant to the mother of Sri Ramakrishna. And when she was pregnant with Sri Ramakrishna, and she called Dhani Kamarni for the delivery's assistance. So she was like a midwife. In those days, you don't have a trained midwife, but then village women, many of the women specialized in that field, and Dhani Kamarni was one of them. So she used to attend to midwifery of the many mothers who used to deliver children. So she came to a mother of Ramakrishna also. So on that day, when the baby was delivered, Kamarani was helping the mother and cleaning her, etc. At that time, she suddenly found the baby is not next to the mother. Where is this baby? And she's looking, it's a small house, and then small room, and then she's searching. In one of the corner, they had kept, for warmth of the room, they had kept a lot of ashes, coal ashes, and wooden ashes they have kept. So she found the baby slowly rolling down like that, and then went and was sleeping on the ashes. Ashes are naturally, those who have got this faith, the ashes are very, very holy. They are very liked by Lord Shiva. So the Shaivism gives these ashes. People put ashes like this. When you go to southern India, you must have seen people putting the vibhuti, as they call it. It's called bhasma. And bhasmas are very powerful. They are if you use mantra and the bhasma, and then to cure any disease, they say it is possible to cure. And such powerful, particularly the bhasmas, which are given as abhisheka for the murtis. So you get that abhisheka bhasma and you use it, and your mind is kept upper level, and the physical diseases also go down. So that type of that ashes. So it says that Ramakrishna was born with the Shiva aspect. Of course, we know the Vishnu aspect also in him. Shiva aspect and Vishnu aspect, both the aspects are there in Sri Ramakrishna. When Sri Ramakrishna used to meet people, he would immediately judge those devotees. Is this person, which aspect he has got? Has he got a Shiva aspect or has he got a Vishnu aspect? Accordingly, he would advise. So you find that this Dhani Kamarni, she hails from that place. Then north of Ramakrishna's house, there was a big pond, Haldar Pukur. That Haldar Pukur is very famous, where Haldar's the tank it is called, because they made the tank, and everything was quite nice in that place. And the lahas were there, and there were a lot of sweet meat sellers. So the author says that near the master's house, there were many sweet meat sellers who make sweet meats. In front of your eyes, they make. It's not that made in some other room and they bring you only packed things. No, you can sit there, you can look at that, and then you can see that how the sweet meat is made. Particularly a sweet meat which is very famous in Kamarpukur is called jalebi. This jalebi master was very fond of. He was extremely fond of jalebi. It is said that once with Rakhal, he had gone to a devotee's house for taking food. So they had invited him for a supper and for lunch, I think, and for all the people have been invited there. And so it's like a party. So the bhajan, etc., was over, and the meal time came, and Sri Ramakrishna sitting there, and Rakhal is sitting next to him, and he started eating. While eating, one serving is over. For Ramakrishna, it is over. The second serving is brought, the same items. He says no, and he's putting his hand like that to tell the man, no, don't put on my leaf. Don't put it. It's all over. I am satisfied. So you pass it on. So like that, one by on all the items he was passing on. But finally, sweet meat comes. At that time, jalebi came. So immediately he removed his hand and accepted jalebi on his plate. So Rakhal was a very keen observer. He saw Master was telling no, no, no to everything for second time. But when the jalebi came, he accepted. So while coming back, he asked Master, Master, how is it that you said you are up to this, you are full? And then you took jalebi. How you got space for jalebi? When you say up to this, you are full. Up to night, you are full. Master said, look, in a crowded place, a mela is going on. Crowded place, hundreds of people are there, standing, or talking, purchasing, so many things are happening. And the road is full with people. Suddenly, the collector's car is coming. Immediately, you see, the people give way because it has got a flag. People know that it is a car of an authority. And when it comes, they leave the space and the car simply comes in. Likewise, in my body, up to this, though it is full, but when jalebi comes, I have clean space there and the jalebi goes straight into my stomach. So it was, the people used to joke about that. So Master had very fond of jalebi. That's why in Ramakrishna's birthday celebration in Ireland, I asked our devotees, can we get jalebi from anywhere? Because I do not know where is the shop or whether at all a jalebi shop is there or not. So one devotee told me, Maharaj, I will try to get jalebi. And she brought jalebi. So the last two functions, we had jalebis during Master's time. If you can't offer jalebi also to Master, what is the use? So I felt very bad, and jalebi we got by his grace. Somehow the jalebi was made by somebody and it was brought here. And we offered to Sri Ramakrishna and distributed to all the devotees. So this Kamarpukur, the sweet meat shops, if you go to Kamarpukur and stay in our guest house and go to temple, and while temple we are coming back to the main Chowhat, that is Charyali we say, and then there are 4 junctions, streets coming to a junction spot. When you come there, you can see to your left side, lot of shops, sweetmeat shops. And in almost every shop owner would say, from my shop only, Sri Ramakrishna used to come and take jalebi. So purchase from my shop. Of course, everyone claims. I do not know which shop exactly even now. And every shop, I talk to every shop owner and they say, no, it's my shop. It's my shop. Like that, they always say that. Whoever shop, but one of the shops, Sri Ramakrishna must have come as a young boy and he would have been taking jalebi from that shop. So that sweetmeat sellers, they are there. And there is a sweeper quarters was there. They are called domes, the sweeper quarters. The sweeper quarters also, now of course it is not there. It has been shifted to some other place. And there is, they all came. Yogis were there. Yogis means the weavers. So this, see, they are all, this society was divided on the basis of a structure of avocation. What is your duty? What talent you have? What you know? Then if you know weaving or making cloth, then all the weavers came together and they stay put in one place. Like that, toilet cleaners, they went and stayed in one place and they stayed together. Like that, what talent you have, according to function, according to your karma, you do, and whatever action you know, and accordingly the society also grows. So Kamarpukur village was an ideal village where you can find several people, not exactly according to caste, but according to the vocation they have, what type of work they know. Accordingly, they are all divided. And it was like that. And the Manik Raja's mango grove is one of the important place they visit. All the devotees, when they go, they must go and see that Manik Raja. Of course, not many mango trees are there now. And then tall palm trees are there. And all these things, how beautifully Swami Gambhirandi writes, just bringing before our eyes today. Wherever you are, you read this book, at that time, you have already visited Kamarpukur. So beautifully he has explained that Kamarpukur is mother's place. And Sri Ramakrishna says, he didn't ask her, go and stay in Jairambati. He told her, go and stay at Kamarpukur. And mother also came to Kamarpukur. But you know, the life is not easy in Kamarpukur. That is the one thing to be noted here, that though mother understood master's teaching that you should not put your hand for a dime to anybody, okay, and then she came and stayed in Kamarpukur, but still there are problems. What type of problems they have? They had a lot of problems. And one of the things, and okay, that portion I have not read today, so I will come up and take up next week. But the portion that I read, the last paragraphs, 2 paragraphs, speak about the deities of Master's family. If you go to Kamarpukur again, I would say, you can see next to the Master's temple at the left side, you will find a small place, a small altar where the Master's family deities are kept. So what are the deities are there? That's what he says. There was an altar for Raghuvira, that is for Ramchandra. For Raghuvira was there. And then this was built by Master's father himself. His name was Khudiram Chattopadhyay. So Khudiram, in Bengali we say Khudiram. So Khudiram used to carry mud from another place and bring it and make a small altar for him, a covered altar. And there are 4 deities there. The image of Gopala, this Bala Gopala, that's a wonderful image. In many of the houses, you find this Bala Gopala image, and people worship that Bala Gopala. Likewise, Lakshmi Devi, who was the niece of Ramakrishna, she had put one Gopala there. She had installed there. And then white stone emblem of Rameshwar Shiva Linga. Stone emblem means Shiva Linga. In Rameshwaram, Master's father, Khudiram Babu, he went all the way to Rameshwaram from Calcutta, you can understand how he went in those days. He went to Rameshwaram and he brought a Shiva Lingam from there. If you go to holy places, you must bring something in memory of the place. So, because Rameshwaram is famous for Shiva's temple, is it not? Those who have visited Rameshwaram, they know what a beautiful temple is there. In that very temple, outside the temple, Swami Vivekananda, when he came back from America, stood there and gave a lecture for 5 minutes. And that lecture is inscribed on the walls of the Rameshwaram temple. Today, if you go to Rameshwaram and stand before the entrance, you can see both the side walls. From here, left side it starts and it ends in the right side. The beautiful Swamiji's 5-minute speech that he gave there is inscribed on the stone. Such a wonderful place. And Rameshwaram is itself that as a holy place, it's such a wonderful. There's a story told about Rameshwaram. I should, whenever this mythological story comes, I feel happy to inform you. Of course, many of you must have known also how the Rameshwaram became so important. After Ravana is being killed, Sri Ram got Mother Sita from the Ashokavana, and all of them with all the monkeys, and they came to Rameshwaram. That place was not known as Rameshwaram at that time. They just arrived at the Indian side, you can say, the present Indian geographical sense. So they came to that place. At that time, when they were ready, making to leave for Ayodhya, and the Pushpak Viman, that is the aeroplane, the Pushpak aeroplane was being readied, getting ready for the departure. At that time, one Brahmahati comes. It is called a particular type of ghost which captures people who kills Brahmins. If a Brahmana is killed, and that person will be caught by this ghost. So the ghost appeared before Sri Ram. Anybody can appear before Sri Ram and worship him because Sri Ram is God, is an avatar. But to the great surprise of all the people, to Sita's most surprise, I should say, that ghost was telling Sri Ram, "Hey Sri Ram, I'm sorry, I have to detain you. I will have to eat you up now." So Sri Ram said, "Why? Why you want to eat me? There is no food for you. There are many people who are tormenting the Brahmins. So they are all ready for your food. So why don't you go and eat them?" Then this ghost said, "Look, you are also one of them." "How I am one of them? Did you not kill Ravana? Ravana's father was a Brahmana. So the Brahmahati dosha has come upon you. It is my duty to eat you now." You can understand, after 1.5 years of separation, Sita has just come back to Sri Ram. What would be her situation? To lose Sri Ram and Hanuman and Vibhishan, all those people are standing there. And what is the way? Immediately there appeared Narad Muni. Narad said, "Ram, don't worry. There is one way that you can get over this." What is the way? If you can do a worship of Lord Shiva at this place. So he showed a spot. At this spot, you worship on the bank of the ocean. That spot, you just worship Lord Shiva. Then the Brahmahati dosha will be out. So he will go back. You will be relieved of this dosha, this papa. But then one condition is there. That Shiva Linga that you have to worship here must be got from the hands of Lord Shiva himself. Now you can understand where is the southern tip of Rameshwaram and where is Kailash. So Sri Ram turned his face and looked at Hanuman. Hanuman is the Uttam Sevak. Sri Ramakrishna gives 3 types of Sevak: Uttam, Madhyam and Adam. The Uttam Sevak does not need any words the master looks at him, he understands. For Madhyam Sevak, you have to tell him so and so, so and so. And for Adham Sevak, not only you have to tell him, you have to show him also. That's how he will do it. So this Hanuman immediately understood. He has to go to Lord Shiva, to Kailash, and get the Shiva Linga. So immediately Hanuman jumped and flew to Kailash. Unfortunately, when he reached Kailash, Lord Shiva was in deep meditation. Now, but the time is going on. The right time for puja time is coming. Hardly 10 minutes left. He has to get it back. And then he went and pressed the feet of Lord Shiva. At that time, Lord Shiva opened his eyes. He saw Hanuman is sitting there. And Lord Shiva knows what for he has come. So he said, not only one hand, with two hands, he gave two little Shivalingas in the hands of Hanumanji. And Hanuman took the two Shivalingas and flew back. Now, these are all taking some time. Now, here you see what is happening in that spot where Sri Ram was standing there to do puja. All the puja materials are made ready. And now he's sitting there. Shivalinga is not there. Hardly a minute is left. Suspense is growing. Mother Sita could not wait. She took the sand there itself and took the sand by her two hands and raised it. And she made it like a Shivalinga. They said, this is Shivalinga, you worship now. Because the time will go away. Once the time is gone, the Brahmahati will catch you. And exactly before the ending of the time, that is called Muhurta, before the ending of the Muhurta, Sita made the Shivalinga there. And Sri Ram worship. And Brahmahati left. But Hanuman came a minute late. He saw he was disheveled because he thought, disappointed. I went all the way to Kailash and brought Shivalingas and it has got no use now. So he kept one Shivalinga there. When you enter Rameshwaram Shiva temple, sanctum sanctorum you go there inside. And that is the Shivalinga that Mother Sita made. But when you enter the temple at the right hand side, the first Sannidhi is there of Lord Shiva, a big Shivalinga is there, quite big, quite large Shivalinga. And that is said to be brought by Hanumanji. So that is kept there. And Mother Sita made the Shivalinga that is kept there. And the another Shivalinga was taken in that Vimana, that is Pushpak Vimana, and while going there, they dropped Hanuman at Varanasi, and he kept it at Varanasi. The second lingam that was given by Lord Shiva was kept at Varanasi, Vishwanath, we say. So this is the story. One mythology goes like that. But then this Rameshwaram is a very holy place. From there, when he came, Khudiram brought a Shivalinga. So that is also kept there. And also Raghuvira stone also is there. Yes. And then the Mother Shitala is also there. Mother Shitala is one of the important aspect of Divine Mother, Goddess, Durga. So Mother Durga, you know that she has got different aspects. So one of the important aspects is Shitala. Particularly Shitala is very well known in the eastern part of India. And Shitala is known as in other names, in other parts of India also. She is the goddess for all the calamities like pox. So the system, the philosophy says that this world has got goodness, has got bad things also. There is a darkness, there is a light. Both the things are created by God only. So God has got different aspects. In one aspect, he is all merciful. He is Sarva Lakshana Lakshana. So he will do only Mangal to you. But then he has got another aspect that is how the Mother Kali's aspect is given. At one hand, she gives you boons to protect you. And on the other hand, she has got Khadaga, the sword in her, spear in her hand. So the Khadaga is there cut. And then the another hand says boons also. So both these things are a divine intervention, that is divine divinity only, not separate. So this is a philosophical point of view that I will discuss some other time. So this Shitala mother is worshipped as to ward off all the calamities. So in many of the villages you'll find different places the temple is there. In southern sides you'll find Mariamma. Mariamma is also worshipped for the same concept. Now, and then with mango leaves, there is a pitcher where the water is worshipped, and that pitcher water is considered as a nectar. That water is sprinkled on the people to remove all types of worries and cares. So that Shitala Ma also is there. And that's why the picture is painted with vermilion, with the kumkum, and the red color is there. And the water is that is bringing about peace. So the mother also stated, the last sentence says, that Raghuvira was the same as Ramachandra. Raghuvira is another name for Ram, you all know, whose birthplace was in the northwest, that is Ayodhya. So the masters of Kudiram offered prasad, not other type of prasad, because he comes from the northwestern area, that is Ayodhya. He used to make khichdi for him. And see, every deity has got its own way of eating also. So for Ram, you can give khichdi or payas. He was born, because of the payas being drunk by his mothers. And then like that, if Krishna, you give anything made of milk, butter, that is very good. For Hanuman, you give laddus. And for Ganesha, you can give these modakas. So like that, every deity, a particular item of food that we all eat, we relish, and that item is associated. And that's how the deities has been made into a full-fledged deity. So if any of things, color is associated, food item is associated, clothings are associated. So different branches of life that we are having are transposed on the deity, and the deity has got all those things. It's a wonderful philosophy that we will take up some other time. Om Kripam Kuru Mahadevi Suteshu Pranateshu Cha Charanasrayadanena Kripamayi Namostute. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.